KWCR.live, and also on our podcast wall on at mixcloud.com.
So this is historic because we're on August 12th. Now, I woke up early this morning. I'm a big number guy. You know, I'm a number. I mean, I run by numbers. 11, 11, 311. I mean, I go on and on and on. My two numbers are 8 and 12. And I'm like, oh my God, it's 8:12 this morning. Like, get them, go. This is going to be an important day. Go, 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 go. Well, you know, I don't have a car. My truck caught on fire. My wheel come off my car. Karen Silkwood on chemo, I call myself lately. Where's Jerry Spence when you need him? His office was in Utah. So, and then Tim calls me from Oregon, you know, the other activist I work with, and he says, you seen this? I said, what? I says, I know about the meltdown there on the web. He said, no, 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 no. He says, Putin did a press conference and said it's an SMR. No. Yeah. So I freaking hurried to get up here. I go, oh my God, no. The reactor that can't blow up. Now, Governor Herbert told me that. Now, remember, Governor Herbert's father was in the bone marrow transplant center with me. Died of leukemia. Mike Lee's father died of leukemia young. My father, of course, my father was nuked to death. I mean, that's what we do. You know, and John Huntsman, Sr., you know what killed him? Cancer. Same with his wife. This is the same week. We all knew who Scott Matheson is, right? Right here in Utah? The famous downwinder governor who got cancer and died of ML. Why he was a sitting governor? Giant story. Guess who just died? And I know her. She was in the hospital. His wife, who grew up in Nephi. Her funeral was this week.
Oh, wow. Cancer as well.
Same thing, leukemia.
Leukemia.
She was in the bone marrow. I mean, everybody that goes into that unit, I end up knowing because me and Brian, we network, and, you know, the doctors. And my case is so famous because the leukemia that I have is de novo. It's an unsurvivable leukemia. And I'm alive. So I'm very famous in that circle. So is Brian Morris. And Brian Morris used to date the daughter. You know, Brian's in the fight of his life. And he and I were the two famous cases in this state. So every oncologist, I mean, basically in the world knows our cases. So we're connected with everybody and anybody. Ricotta Iki in Japan right now is dying of AML leukemia. She's on death's doorstep. She's in the fight of her life. We hope she can make it. But that's the most famous athlete in the history of Japan. Oh, you don't think she got that from Fukushima? So this story is so gigantic because the original funding that came on, the technology was developed here. Not in Russia, and the technology that Russia is using, it happens, it plays out over and over and over and over. These contracts that you find out that are a Russian company and a U.S. company are together, it happens over and over and over. You're like, what? I thought we were going against each other. Then you'll see, oh, Savannah River, for exact, in South Carolina. You know about that Moxfield fairy tale? Oh, Riva in France has come up, the French-based freaking government-backed nuclear industry has come up a way to Mox Fuel, which was all total lie. So they appropriate $455 million in the 90s, which I fought them then in the 90s through Congress. That's at $29 billion right now. Half-built fairy tale. Shut down, it's over. The Department of Energy goes in under the Obama administration and says there's massive fraud. Chicago Bridge iron stock crashes. I told you to short it long before. Trump re-ups it. Comes in, throws more money. You know what Trump said about Fukushima? And Obama's even worse. They're identical twins. The opposite of John Kennedy, who was going against the nuclear industry. Well, this is what Trump's only statement he's ever made about Fukushima. This is before he's president long ago. He says, well, you don't stop driving if you get in a car wreck. I said, you do if you get killed. So they're reporting 5 dead guys. Now, these videos started breaking the other day. And I saw them. And, you know, I had reported in 2017 there was an accident. And I did video. Look, I did report it in 2017. We worked together on it. Now, this is important. The United States, you can look it up. While you were all sleeping in Trumpism versus Obama, impeachment fairy tale land, you know, God gave gun, God gave gun, the United States sent the sniffer plane in. What's the sniffer plane? They don't send the sniffer plane in. It's a special plane the United States has to sniff out nuclear accidents or tests. The sniffer plane was sent in. It was confirmed that something happened on Trump's inauguration in this same place. Now, this happened on the White Sea, right there on the edge, which is east of Moscow. You know, so this isn't Mayak. You know, this is, now I don't know for sure, but somebody told me today this is the same place they were launching the floating nuclear reactor. And where the floating nuclear reactor that Putin has floating out there now was developed in the same place, and it's the same technology, by the way. SMRs, which is developed by FLUOR Construction fraudulently at Idaho National, which is right up the road in Idaho, which is, what's the Blackfoot Reservation? You know, they call it Massacre Rocks. Oh boy, which was the first nuclear reactor on the face of the earth. Was right. It's up there. You can go in it. It's a little museum. You just drive up I-15, fork off on 26, go over, you know, get to Blackfoot, where you go past Poketail, get to Blackfoot, fork off to the left, out in the headed to Craters of the Moon. There it is. It's gigantic. That's INL, Idaho National Lab. The first two nuclear meltdowns in the United States both happened there. Same type of reactor. Blew up, killed people, peeled them off the roofs. Now, you've seen the videos with me and Allison McFarland's face in San Juan Capistrano. The only person who ever got in Allison McFarland's face, and the nuclear cartel. I got in all their face about the cover-up of Fukushima. Now, you know I'm holding Paul Winchester, one of my lifelong best friends, obituary. Born and raised in Atomic City, Idaho, an Arco. He knew what killed him. I says, here, your blood's on, right there. So the 5 men that they're saying is dead, well, we know how Chernobyl played out. So is this bad? Oh yeah, real bad. Because, oh, it's just a small nuclear reactor. Well, let me tell you how they're built. It's all condensed weapons-grade fuel. So the whole concept behind the thing is the reactor itself is smaller, yet it's as strong. It can produce these gargantuous amounts of energy. Well, how does it do that? Because that weapons-grade fuel they're using in them. I've said it the whole time. These things are more dangerous than even a big reactor. How bad is this? Oh, it's bad. Is it as bad as Chernobyl? Probably worse. So, Chernobyl was one partial. Is it as bad as Fukushima? No, hell no. Fukushima was 3 full blown-out reactors with MOX fuel in 3. Multiple reactors, freaking spent fuel pools, thousands of tons. MOX fuel from Savannah River was on site. Experimental reactors was on site. You know, we knew, as activists, we knew what Fukushima was. TikTok, Diablo Canyon clock. What about freaking Rocky Flats here? What about Santa Susana here? What about Hanford here? You know, I go on and on and on. These are nuclear accidents here. But this is a beast. This is a nasty accident. This is a big one. This is my guess, the IAEA in the nuclear scale rates 1. Now think about this. The worst nuclear disaster on a scale, wouldn't you think it'd be 10 or 100? No, the worst is a 7. Oh, it's only a 7. Their scale goes from 1 to 7. Now think about that. That's in malice by inception. Who set the scale 1 to 7? So, oh, it's just 7. How many 7s have been according to the IAEA? 2. Chernobyl and Fukushima. Is this a 7? Yep. I think this is probably the 3rd 7 according to the I think it is. I'm sure it is. When Putin does a press conference, you know, Rostom themselves shows up to the funeral and starts talking. I mean, it's Chernobyl all over again. Now, will the Russians entomb it? No, Gorbachev's hiding in freaking Paris. Putin wants him dead. We go from Gorbachev and Reagan. The Salt Treaty bunkers, which is irony on this. I was standing in front of the Salt Treaty bunkers in Wendover, Utah. That's where they're at when this happened. I mean, the irony of it. I mean, there's videos out there. You know, we pulled out of those treaties. Bush pulled us out of those. Bush, Putin, they pulled us out of those. Then Obama pulled us out of lot. Obama was the worst. He was the most pro-nuclear. I mean, talk about a fraud. And Trump's even worse. So the most pro-nuclear president in history, Truman, that's been passed by Donald Trump. Second most pro-nuclear president in history, Barack Obama. Third most pro-nuclear president in history, George W. Bush. The trilogy from 2000, they've gone nuclear mad. Why? Because that's where all the money's at. Rob the future, kill, maim, poison. Rachel Carson on chemo on Balco, people used to call me. Rob the future, give all the money to my friends. I like how you get down the rabbit hole on uranium-1. Clinton's. Ha! This is uranium-1 Google. This dwarfs that. Where does uranium-1 trace to? Right there. Mayak. Where the deer and the antelope used to play. Remember when all the antelope dropped dead there? What was that, 2013? Half the herd population. Oh, and the biologist comes out and he says, we've drawn their blood. They're similar. Their blood works have elevated white counts and they have traces that look like they have some type of leukemia. Oh, my God. And then the investigative journalists, the vloggers, and the bloggers run over to Jade Helm to, oh, this writer in Utah. This is my favorite. Remember in 2015, the world's coming to an end. This young writer got, and she's a Mormon. Even the Mormon church had to come and make a statement. She got rich. The world's coming to an end. She just sold book. All the activist community, book. World coming to an end. Of course, the world doesn't come to an end in 2015, and she just puts out on her blog, oh, thank you for all your support. Love you all. Move to San Diego. Bye. And you fools fall for it. You know, it's just like Fukushima, Alex Jones and Rance and everybody else is pounding it. Now, I like Rance and I like Yossi. Yossi's done great work, but Alex Jones, he was just selling bunkers. Just bowing to advertisers. You seen him speak anything of Fukushima since his God got in? How can you just drop it? What's the difference between Trump and Obama? Nothing. Zero. The Fukushima cover-up. I've been saying the whole time. I've been screaming and yelling on these little SMRs in the... I mean, you look it up. It's all over YouTube. I've been in these people. I caught NewScale. These people. These very people. So in the Utah State Capitol, you cannot lobby while they're in session. Now this is the corruption, and I caught them. Where's the FBI? Where's the FBI? Where's the FBI and the $20 million federal grant that's missing on West 12th Street development? This Weber County Commissioner Gibson and this Snellgroves and the Romney boys stole. Where's the FBI? That's a federal grant. Where's the FBI on all this? So I'm inside the Utah State Capitol. I walk behind the stairs. There's tables set up, and they've got a big dinner going on, and it's NewScale. What? I said, this is illegal. You can look up the video. There's a video. I'm right in their face. I'm like, why don't we just put up a statue of Ted Bundy on I-15, I'm telling them. You know, and I'm going off on them. You know what the woman told me? Well, have you seen Pandora's Promise? I says, that's a pro-nuclear paid piece of propaganda filth. Clean, green, too cheap to murder? Good Lord. I mean, what are we going to do? We're going to have exclusion zones over the whole Earth? I mean, the oceans collapsed. My work proves that the tide pools are all dead, yet people are still going to San Diego on vacation just exclusively to look at tide pools at Point Loma and pay $25. You go out there and all the tide pools are deader than dead. Yet they're still going. I mean, this is the same week they announced Chernobyl vodka. There's a hostel in Chernobyl. This is the same month the same year they announced KISS as Fukushima beer. Fukushima Sakai. We went to the Fukushima Sakai place in Chelsea, in New York. Kevin Finnegan went and interviewed her. She says, well, he says, who's paying you? Well, the Fukushima government. This is the same week they're trying to lift the bans on the food in Asia and Hong Kong, and they're fighting back. The only place that didn't lift the ban on the food in Fukushima on Earth was the United States. Bring it on. Hillary Clinton went there. Obama sent her in. No wonder she has thyroid problems. To cover up the cancer epidemic, as I've been working with activists over there, is off the hook. It's being covered up. It's off the hook here. It's being covered up. There's one of my friends' obituary, my neighbor. It's in the obituary today, 51 years old. My neighbor, LaRoe. Dave LaRoe. I'm like, what the hell? Just got sick. No cause of death. So I talked to my friend. I think he had some bone cancer. And I says, well, why wouldn't he put that in there so we can understand? People are putting in nobody's business. No, it's everybody's business because they're covering up the freaking cancer rates. How can we know? Well, that's the plan. Change the law so we don't know. The only way we know is obituaries, death certificates. We don't get to see them anymore. I mean, what a sham. I mean, what a degenerate country. So this is a major, major catastrophe. My guess, the IAEA will rank this over time as a 7. This will come out, and here's how it's going to play out in Utah. Because I'm going to be all over everybody, including John Huntsman. I'm going to try to track him down in the next few days and get an interview with him. I know him. You know, he's supposedly back here. You know, he resigned as the ambassador to Russia. You know, when he was first ambassador to China, you know, Remember when his dad threw a fit at Mike Lee for spending, I was on Medicaid then, I was in the bone marrow transplant, and I got kicked off and it almost killed me. And John Huntsman Sr. went crazy. He said, "You're sending our money. I don't care if I have to spend $1 billion. I'm going to run against Mike Lee and throw him out of office." So everybody thought, it would be his son. Not only did his son not run against him, he became his campaign manager. You think it's a club in Utah? Why would Mitt Romney run for junior senator? He's a billionaire with, he ran for president. I mean, he's been governor. I mean, why would you go back to being a junior senator in Utah? He doesn't even live here. Because he owns Grassy Mountain. What's Grassy Mountain? Huh. The energy dump site. Now, they've been caught on West 12th Street. The $20 million is missing. Internal investigation, no charges. Now, the Attorney General in Weber County, Ogden, Utah, went to college with him. It's Chris Allred. His father and his brother, professors here, were. Now, he said there's conflict of interest, and he kicked it over to Ogden. And then they kicked it to Davis County. No charge. I know the lead investigator, the cop that investigated. He says there's checks written for hundreds of thousands of dollars all over fraudulently. We have them. Okay? So no charges. Where's the FBI then? The FBI's charter is to investigate corrupt governments. There's no government more corrupt on the face of the earth than Utah. I mean, oh, what a shakedown. I cannot believe that Utah did this. And you can blame Utah for this. I'm telling you right now. You can blame Utah for this. You can blame FLUOR Construction for this. You can blame the American populace on the cover-up of Fukushima for this. This technology was developed here. This plug should have been pulled on this. If you wouldn't have covered up Fukushima in the United States, this would have never happened in Russia. This is a small nuclear reactor that's all come post-Fukushima. NuScale technology is based in Oregon on the Columbia River as the salmon collapsed and the orcas have disappeared. The orcas have left the southern pod. They're in, as far as San Diego, eating dolphins, eating whatever they get. I mean, it's never happened in history. As the Pacific Ocean dies, stock market makes all-time highs. By the way, I was screaming at you, short FLUOR Construction. I've been screaming at you for 6 freaking months. It's gone from $40 to $18 in the last few days.
Really?
Yeah, FLUOR Construction's crashing.
$18 a stock?
Yeah, FLUOR's right now.
Unbelievable.
You know what happened? On their quarterly earnings, the end of the thing, they come out of nowhere. They lost $4 a share. The stock lost 30% in one day. And they said in their own earnings call that we ordered an internal audit and exposed some serious problems. They didn't use the word fraud, but almost. Well, why would a company order their own internal? Because the SEC is breathing down their throat. Now, why would not the SEC be reporting that? Because this is the gig that Bush started. Bush started this with snow, and then Obama took it to the new level. The SEC doesn't go after companies. The SEC quietly behind the scenes negotiates a deal. So just like GE, we didn't know the SEC and the DOJ was investigating, which has never been announced by the DOJ or the SEC. Miller, the CFO for GE last year, announced that they were under investigation by the DOJ and the SEC. Still to this day has never been announced by the SEC. I thought the SEC worked for us. So I'm sure the SEC's inside FLUOR, and you can bet your ass that it's all about these little reactors. And I could tell you, like I said, I'm the guy that exposed that Kenwood. Look it up. Kenwood Financial was the original funding of these small little reactors. FLUOR Construction is the funder. You go up to INL, right by the gate, there's a brand new, great big sign there. Because I shot videos up there this year.
Great secure reactors.
Yeah, safe.
Safe reactors.
So, there's a great big sign at the gates of INL. Now, INL is the Idaho National Lab funded by the taxpayer. Why would there be a FLUOR Construction sign there? And there's a brand new big, Lisa and I shot videos up there. You can see them. The guy who owns the old bar at the Atomic City, in Little Atomic City, he's from here. I'm friends with him. I go up there and have a beer with him and visit with him. By the way, what's her name that ran the bar at Atomic City for years and years? Guess what she died from? Oh, you got it. AML leukemia. 58 years old. So.
Wow.
Yeah, Wow's right. And so you seen that picture of the cougar with the fangs growing out of the back of its head? Nobody can figure out this deformed one that was shot in Idaho a couple years ago. Guess where it was shot? Right next to Idaho National Lab. Well, they had 2 meltdowns that we know of there. I mean, they had waste recently. It was reported by KUTV in Salt Lake. They could hear barrels pop, 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 pop. I talked to some of the firemen up there. They says, oh, they washed it off us. Yeah, you can wash off nuclear waste, right? Nuclear fallout. It just washes off, right? Don't it? Yeah, That's what I heard. That's what Governor Herbert told me.
Salt and water, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So you might
That's
have to
magic.
use something a little bit organic,
That
you
could
know.
be magic, yeah.
Yeah, it just comes off, you know, maybe.
Just like dirt.
Well, I read Hillary Clinton's emails online, as you know. I could have gotten a lot of trouble for it. And the transcript, and everybody was Benghazi, Benghazi, Benghazi. Had nothing to do with Benghazi. It was all Fukushima. Take your clothes off, take a shower. Don't you hear the plume is coming